In today's video, guys, we're gonna have a quick look at the new elemental affinities and how exactly they are going to work. We're gonna see if the summoners can actually put in some work this time around or not. In the past, especially in Season 1, they weren't necessarily the best characters in the game because it felt like they were lacking damage, they were lacking utility all around. But it seems like with the new additions, they might be better. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to do a few short clips basically showcasing what they can do. I'm gonna split them in 3 different clips. So we're gonna try the Permafrost, basically necrosis, and the ice characters in this video. Then I'm gonna do one for light and radiance. Then I'm gonna do one for poison and wild as well, or poison and fire. If you guys want to keep up to date with daily content on Dragonheir Silent Gods or Dragonstride Legacy Reborn, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because I'll be dropping tons of guides, news, tips and tricks and everything else that you guys need to know. So we're gonna head over to the drilling ground. I'm going to set the exact same things for all of the characters, for all of the elemental affinities. Now keep in mind, I already released a different video where we kind of like covered what are the changes and what are the new elemental affinity bonuses, because we have that already. So feel free to check it out. I won't be covering that in this video. I'm going to select multiple enemies. Now the thing is, they have different schools of damage, right? Each elemental affinities, the more we are going into the game across different seasons, the more schools of damage we are going to unlock. Some of them have better utility versus single target. Some of them better utility versus AoE damage, right? But we're gonna put tons of enemies in there and we're gonna see kind of like what type of damage they are doing. I'm gonna keep them at monster level 1 because I want to do it without having any gear on my characters, okay? So I'm going to bring basically 3 damage dealers from each elemental affinity. I'm gonna make sure they have no gear. So she has no gear, she might have gear, but we're gonna remove it all. Then we're gonna go right here, remove it all, right? Then, just to fill in that elemental affinity, I'm going to bring in a couple of different units as well. So he's kind of like a tank, and I'm gonna bring in a healer as well. So I'm gonna bring in an Elcibrin here too, because why not? They are all from the same elemental affinity, and this will go for 90 seconds, guys. Now, in the process, we can actually have a look at the numbers too. What I'm trying to see is basically all the damage at the end versus these enemies, because I'm briefly going to try and compare it with the other elemental affinities, kind of like to see if any of them got nerfed, any of them got buffed, how do they perform in terms of damage, right? Of course, this will be very situational, as I've mentioned, because they have different schools of damage. Some of them deal better AoE, some of them better single target damage. So this is not something that will actually be like, okay, these units suck now, they're trash, just because we tested them in here. But it's just to kind of like give us a bit of an idea of what we can expect when we are returning on the 17th back to Dragonheir, okay? Because in the past, we knew exactly how the game works. Now, they've done so many changes that if we haven't played the Chinese version, which I haven't, we're going to be in for a surprise. We're going to have tons and tons and tons of different changes, right? So basically, we are just looking at the damage output. We're looking at how Frost works. Frost will now basically trigger enemy max HP damage or max HP damage at every 5 stacks. And it will apply Frost on the enemies, which will actually slow them down, and we will slow them their ultimate energy down as well. So they will recharge that slower. So basically, in terms of damage, that's what we have. Let's see total DPS too. And that's kind of like the statistics. Now, we won't really be able to see the total damage, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't think we have that option. But I'm quickly going to take a screenshot just to have a bit of an idea of what we can expect from here. I'm going to save this just to have it ready, so we have a bit of a look after. Now, this will kind of like put each one of the characters individually, but we can add a little bit up the numbers, right? So we have 3,782, 1 million, 1.6 million, and the rest haven't really dealt damage. So overall, we got what, like 7 million damage, maybe close to 8 million damage in total from this team. Now, if I'm going to redeploy, and this time around, I'm actually going to bring in some Necro. So this should be a pretty good unit. The thing is, it's hard to bring in summoners now, at least in Season 1. Like, there are not many units that bring in summons, from what I've seen. So I'm going to check to have no gear on them. Remove all of that. So she will do a summon, but I need somebody else that will bring me summons in here, right? So he's going to bring in the dragon. I feel like the best unit to summon is this one at the moment. It doesn't really do much with the summons either. Each time an ally in that summon unit dies, there's a 100% chance to summon a skeleton. So basically, it won't really fill up the whole field in here. But I'm going to bring him in here as well next to this unit too. And I'm going to bring in a Ripcast. I don't really need healing in here, so I just basically need a different tank, right? So he has no gear or tank. A different unit that's not a damage dealer, because that will skew a bit kind of like the result. I could bring her in as well instead of somebody. But once again, she doesn't summon either, right? So she needs other units. I feel like their weakness at the moment is basically the fact that they do not have many units that can summon. Now, as you guys can notice, this is their elemental affinity bonus. And this can be used as a tank, but just to don't skew up the results too much, I will bring in a different character rather than a damage dealer. Now, I know that once you're getting her in Season 2, that's all going to be nice and juicy, because she is pretty damn nasty too. But let's see if we can make it work without it. I'm actually going to bring in Gulende. Gulende will get the job done. So let's see how this works out with the summons. I'm actually going to put it on 1x and see how many summons we're getting in. So we have that main tank right there. Do we have any other summons coming in? So she's going to summon now. Okay. And she's going to proc her ultimate a bit too fast because the other ones did not do anything yet. Which is a bit of a shame. And she's not sacrificing the elite summons, right? Only the little ones. Skeletons and stuff like that. And we really do not have many. We have 1 and 2 at the moment. That's fine. Okay, we got another one up and running. We got 4 now. I don't think he's considered an elite, this one right here. But he might be considered an elite. So let's see. Is she going to summon again? No, she's just enhancing it. Okay. Okay, yeah, she sacrificed all of them, which is good. Okay, so she sacrificed all of them from what I've seen. Or at least most of them. So that's pretty good. But she definitely needs more in here for her damage to actually really pop off. You know, like, Leonis can do good damage if she has a lot of summons. Now we have quite a few on here, so she should be able to use another ultimate. And I want to see if she's going to consume all of them or not. Right? Yep, consume them all and bang, much better damage. But still, she is not top yet. We do have a couple of different units that are putting up bigger numbers. But that's mainly because she started with her ultimate without actually sacrificing anyone, right? We cannot sacrifice that elite unit that we have on the far left. So the free legendary might not be the best option for a team like this. Because she's basically not sacrificing that enemy. But she is reaching her ultimate form, which is kind of like transforming into the dragon, which is pretty damn cool. And her damage is overall not bad. Now, Irzilias actually puts in some serious numbers here. I'm very, very surprised to see that he is actually top fragger in here. Pretty damn surprised by it. So, what do we have right here? We have a 1.3 million damage, 1.1, 1.6. Right? So, we've got something close to like 4 and a bit. Right? 4 and a bit. So, the Frost actually dealing so much damage, it just shows how effective it is versus AoE. Now, with summons, this might not be the best team. And we have no gear. We cannot enhance them as we should. Probably, I would take her out and maybe bring in Premza instead. Let's actually give it another go, but we're gonna put it on 3x speed and see if that does a little bit more, right? Let's try to basically bring in the some of the best units. She's pretty good too, but she's not summoning either, if I remember it correctly. She just gives them increased attack, and yeah, puts that Banshee basically. Oh, she clones somebody actually, while the clone exists. So she could clone somebody. I guess it's a lot of testing to do to see if we should replace somebody else with her, so she clones one. But if she clones a skeleton only, it might not necessarily be enough, right? So I'm going to put it on 3x. This is definitely going to move much, much faster now. I do remember having a unit that was summoning tons and tons of skeletons before, and that was a legendary. But I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. Not having that might not necessarily be the best thing. Now we do have a lot of summoned units right now actually, and we sacrificed them all, so that's actually good. So we have way more this time around, which is good. We have loads of them. Like, what do we have? 7, 6, 8. So the damage should be much better this time around. Okay, she's sacrificing them all, but her damage is still not top, right? Like Premza does more damage, but this should maybe push up the numbers a bit more. Yeah, kind of like be a bit more closer to Frost from what we're seeing right here. And it does seem like, yeah, the numbers are much better. The numbers are much, much better like this. Yep. We're literally close to beat Frost, or pretty much the same numbers. Yeah. Yep. So Premza 3.1 million. Then we have Leronis with 3 million now. You see what a big of a difference it made. And then we have Irzilias with 1.7 million. So if I'm quickly going to bring back that screenshot, just to kind of like get an idea, it's around the same in terms of damage. So it seems like with the right combo, of course, the Necros, the Summoners, are definitely more effective. Now, of course, pros and cons, depending on what content you're using them, they might not be extremely effective versus every single dungeon boss and all that stuff, but they do have the potential to work much, much better than they've previously done in Season 1, guys. That was all for this video. I just quickly wanted to basically see how they perform, what type of changes we can expect, kind of like give us an idea a little bit, but they do seem to perform pretty well, at least in this content. And of course, they're both using their exclusives, which they are a bit harder to get, but we do have summoning banners now for them. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.